The following video contains scenes of gratuitous spinning and flipping. Viewer discretion is advised. And in all seriousness, epilepsy warning for flashing lights and colors.
Well everyone, Carnival season is officially here, and what would a carnival be without rides? All across the globe, you can find some of the wildest, most nausea-inducing fairground rides to test your limits. A few years ago, we took a look at just some of the many insane carnival rides out there, but that was just the tip of the iceberg. And today, we're going to take a look at not 10, but 20 of them as voted on by the viewers. Before we get started though, I just wanted to give a special shout out to YouTube user Funfair Worldwide, who also provided some of the footage for this video. This channel has a plethora of amazing and rare flat ride footage to check out, mainly from European fun fairs. You can find a link in the description. Number 20, The Contact, built by Italian manufacturer Fabri Group. Were Disneyland's teacups not hardcore enough for you? Say hello to The Contact. This dizzying fair ride closely resembles a spinning pizza cutter. A rotating disc sits on the end of a main arm, with 5 spinning gondolas each holding 4 people on the disc. At a total of 3 rotational axes, this ride has the potential to turn even the world's strongest stomachs. Passengers will experience intense lateral G-forces that press them sideways, with said forces fluctuating throughout the ride. This thrill ride is a lot of things, but one thing this ride isn't is boring. And if you can handle being spun like pizza dough, this ride is an absolute must. Number 19, The Challenger, built by Italian manufacturer Technical Park. This was actually the first thrill ride ever invented by the manufacturer. Inspired by space travel, this ride looks like a training device straight out of NASA. A main arm lifts an hourglass-shaped rotating arm into the air, with a gondola on each end. These gondolas constantly barrel roll throughout the ride experience, with the fast rotation of the arm ensuring plenty of G-force. There's no denying this ride's intensity, so if you're in the mood for something that'll blast you off into a universe of thrills, see if you can find a Challenger at a fair near you. Number 18, The Tornado, built by an unknown manufacturer. Said to operate in Mexico, this fair ride has several unique factors to it. Similar to ABC Ride's Tourbillon, this ride seats passengers in a gondola with 3 axes of rotation, resembling a gyroscope. The ride itself looks immeasurably intense. From what I can tell, the ride operator actually uses a foot pedal to power the ride. This pedal is hooked up to a rubber tire, which is used to turn the main wheel. So if you want a job operating this ride, you're gonna need some serious buns and thighs. But if you ride it, make sure you haven't eaten beforehand, because this ride will flip you every which way you can possibly think of. And if you're not dizzy by the end of it, consider yourself lucky. Number 17, The Dragon 360, built by an unknown manufacturer. You've probably ridden a standard pirate ship ride, but what if you combined the ship design with a circle that rotated all the way around? You'd end up with the Dragon 360. What makes this ride absolutely insane is the design of the looping wheel. The seats feature lap bars and supposedly no seat belts. The only other thing riders have to hold on to are metal overhead bars. And as if that wasn't terrifying enough, the ride has the ability to stall upside down, and for a pretty darn long time to boot. Certainly a unique midway attraction for sure, and one that we haven't seen too many photos or videos of. Number 16, The Evolution, built by Dutch designer Ronald Busnick. Imagine taking the old Horizons ride vehicles and putting them on a great big inverting thrill ride. You'd get this enormous attraction. First debuting on the traveling fair circuit, only 3 of these monsters were ever built, and the only one still known to be operating is Excalibur at Missouri's Six Flags St. Louis. While Fabri would end up licensing and manufacturing a smaller version of the ride, the original design is much more intimidating. At 113 feet / 34 meters tall, this gargantuan creation once dominated the European midways. Its arm alone is said to weigh 320,000 pounds, and it reportedly needed 16 trailers to transport it on the road. The ride itself features a giant rotating arm with a wheel at one end. Attached to the wheel are 16 4-person gondolas, with a total ride capacity of 64 people per circuit. As the wheel spins, the resulting centrifugal force pushes riders into their seats, and as the arm rotates, passengers will be forced to look straight down while spinning around in a huge circle. In other words, this ride is the ultimate personification of vertigo. If you ever find yourself in the St. Louis area, see if you can stomach this epic attraction. Number 15. The Y Factor, built by American manufacturer Wisdom Rides. Though the company is most well known for their Dragon Wagon and Minormite kiddie coasters, Wisdom Rides have built a few thrill rides as well, one of which is the Y Factor. While the X Factor brought us One Direction and Little Mix, the Y Factor brings excitement and disorientation. The name of this ride comes from its Y-shaped structure, which rotates on the ride platform. On each end of the structure, a moving arm holds a rotating pod. Each pod holds a dozen passengers, giving the ride a relatively high capacity. According to the manufacturer, the pods are driven by, quote, the proven Tornado air clutch and brake system, while the main center uses, quote, the rugged one-truck Himalaya drive system. I'm no engineering expert, but those are pretty wacky ways to describe these systems. But regardless, the ride itself is a prime example of how downright thrilling engineering can be. Number 14. The Tumbler, built by British manufacturer Tivoli Enterprises. This attraction looks like what would happen if a kiddie ride drank too many watermelon mojitos. Photos and video of this ride are incredibly rare, with the only known footage being on a VHS tape called Awesome Rides. Although the flowery gondolas look like something on a kiddie Ferris wheel, this ride was said to be incredibly intense. The ride consists of 2 wheels, each holding 6 cars. As the wheels rotate, the cars flip freely both forwards and backwards in uncontrolled rotations. Not only is this ride insane, but it's also incredibly rare. However, surprisingly enough, this attraction is still up for sale on a used ride website. While the enclosed cars have since been replaced with more open seating, the overall ride experience still appears to be the same. And if you want to purchase the attraction, you can do so for the low price of almost $500,000. Number 13. The Rollover, built by British manufacturer Nottingham, UK. From the same city that brought you Robin Hood comes this memorable defunct attraction. Once owned by showwoman Ashley Wood, this was a modified version of the standard Miami Trip ride, though instead of the platform featuring the ordinary stationary seats, the platform on the Rollover featured flipping cars instead. Known to have operated at the 1998 Stamford Autumn Fun Fair, there aren't many public testimonies from people who have ridden it. From the look of things, this ride appears to combine airtime with uncontrollable flipping. Passengers would have likely gotten airtime while hanging upside down, which I imagine would be extremely surreal. Unfortunately, this ride didn't last long in its original form, and would soon be reverted to a standard Miami Trip ride. Still though, this is an extremely unique ride concept that I'd love to see a manufacturer bring back. Number 12. The Big Shot, built by an unknown manufacturer. Imagine turning the paddle of a homemade ice cream maker into a thrill ride. Well, one Scottish attraction appears to be just that. Owned by showman Derek Thomas, this ride consists of passengers sitting parallel to the ride platform. They are then hoisted into the air, flipping sideways throughout the ride experience. And in an added effort to bring a unique attraction to Scottish fairs, the main arms tilt the gondola diagonally as it flips. This adds an extra element of disorientation as well as some unpredictability to the attraction. To put it bluntly, the amount of twists on this attraction makes it the Carnival ride equivalent of Danganronpa. This ride is only known to have operated in Scotland, and I couldn't find a lot of information about it. But if you got to experience it, feel free to leave a comment down below. Number 11. The Swinger, built by Dutch manufacturer Mondial. While this may look like an ordinary swing ride at first, this attraction is far from orthodox. The ride itself features 4 arms that hold spinning 8-seat gondolas. And when I say arms, I literally mean arms. What really makes this ride stand out is the appearance and attention to detail. The ride structure is designed to resemble 4 Amazonian warriors who closely resemble Wonder Woman. The main arms of the ride are deliberately sculpted to resemble the arms of the goddesses, and you can even see the fingers. The sheer size and scope of this attraction is extremely impressive, and Mondial really hit the design aspect of this ride out of the park. The ride is a rare find at fairs, but if you can get on one, I recommend it based on its uniqueness alone. Number 10. The Speed 32, built by Dutch manufacturer KMG. In our last Carnival Rides video, we discussed the Inversion XXL, aka Infinity. This towering behemoth is already amazing, but KMG has since managed to outdo themselves. If you loved Infinity, you'll adore Airborne. While the Inversion XXL seats stay stationary, The Speed 32 seats can freely flip with the forces of the ride, and although Infinity is limited to one full rotation, Airborne can make several of them. The best thing about Airborne by far is that it's the exact same height as Infinity, 213 feet / 65 meters tall. This is one of these rides you really want to avoid if you have a fear of heights, but if you're like me and love a good high altitude thrill ride, the Airborne is simply divine. Number 9. The Tropical Dance, built by Spanish manufacturer Lorente. This bulky attraction seats up to 19 people on each side of a large polygonal prism. A main arm lifts the prism into the air while spinning it sideways. Each end of the prism rotates as well, flipping guests both forwards and backwards. What's especially cool about this ride is how close the prism is to the main arm. Guests passing above it will likely feel as if their heads are about to smash into the arm, giving an amazing near-miss element. This ride is quite common on the Spanish fair circuit, so if you can find one, be prepared to get your groove on and dance the night away. Number 8. The Trompo Loco, built by an unknown manufacturer. This is another extraordinarily rare carnival ride, so much so that this is the only photograph I could find of it. This ride is named after a toy called a trompo, which is a type of spinning top that's extremely popular in Latin America. And much like its namesake, the Trompo Loco spins, and spins, and spins. Yes, this is one of the fastest spinning rides I've ever seen. There are people in that thing. You can tell from how the passengers exit the ride just how dizzying it is. This guy fell over, and this guy looks like he's about to hurl. Unfortunately, I couldn't find any other photos or video of this ride, but if you've managed to ride it, let me know about it in the comments. Number 7. Dschunke, built by German manufacturer Schwarzkopf. While they are perhaps most well known for their roller coasters, Schwarzkopf also built their fair share of flat rides, one of which was the Dschunke, aka the German word for junk. But it's not the kind of junk you're thinking of. The name actually originates from a type of Chinese sailing ship called junk. This explains the East Asian style design and theming of the ride. At one point, one of these rides actually operated at New Jersey's Six Flags Great Adventure, but to this day, it remains exclusive to traveling fairs. The ride consists of two 16-person gondolas being rotated by massive crossbars. GreatAdventureHistory.com has compared the ride's appearance to a taffy pulling machine. At first glance, the ride's design doesn't seem to make sense, and it looks like a true paradox. The crossbars look like they should collide with each other, but the masterful magic of engineering makes every rotation both smooth and thrilling. Though it's arguably one of the tamer rides on this list, Dschunke is still an incredibly creative Schwarzkopf attraction that's well worth being here. Number 6. Maxxx, built by Technical Park. This ride is like if your childhood swing set was hit by gamma rays and turned into the Hulk, but instead of a giant green beast, it became the Maxxx. Though reportedly no longer in operation, this gigantic attraction is still remembered for its scale alone. The ride consists of a single gondola that's hung between two lofty support towers. At the top of these towers are rotating arms that move the ride's cables, thus causing the gondola to swing. Meanwhile, the seats are free to flip forwards and backwards, allowing for an out-of-control and fear-inducing ride experience. This is one of those carnival rides you'd really have to see to believe, and the way it towers over the midway is a true achievement for Technical Park. With high speeds, impressive heights, and upside-down excitement, the Maxxx was truly one of the most remarkable flat rides ever to hit the midways. Number 5. The Inferno, built by Mondial. This one is a bona fide classic, also known as the Airwolf. This ride consists of two boat-shaped gondolas being turned topsy-turvy on a crossarm. Like the Tropical Dance, each gondola can rotate independently, though instead of facing outwards, each gondola on the Inferno faces each other. With 38 seats total, it's also one of the highest capacity rides on this list. This makes it appealing not only to traveling fairs, but permanent parks as well. Recently, Canada's Wonderland opened one of these attractions called Soaring Timbers, so even if you can't track this down at your local fair, feel free to book a ticket to Canada and check this one out. Number 4. The UFO, built by Spanish manufacturer Robles Boso. Once again, we come across a defunct and extremely rare ride. What we have here is quite similar to a Hoos Enterprise model, with gondolas attached to a rising wheel, but instead of an arm raising and lowering the wheel, this wheel actually navigates a rainbow-shaped pathway from one platform to another. I can't even imagine what the ride experience would have been like, but from what I see, the dreamlike nature of this ride makes it both fascinating and quirky. Simply put, this ride takes the very concept of gravity, throws it out the window, spits on it, and insults its mother. And despite its rarity, we are truly lucky to have footage of this ride, and there are also some amazing pictures of it out there. Number 3. Super BARCA VIKINGA, built by an unknown manufacturer. From a distance, you may look at this ride and think it's just an ordinary pirate ship, but upon closer inspection, you'll see one stark difference. On each end of the ship is a cage that can hold multiple people, a cage without seatbelts, lap bars, or even seats. Yes, you can literally stand up on the part of the ride that gets the most airtime. As passengers are hurled into the air, all they have are the surrounding metal bars to keep them in place. Footage of this ride shows people flying into the air as if they're on a falling elevator. But wouldn't it be cool to see these come to the US? As someone who loves airtime, I can safely say this is a must ride for me. Number 2. The Stand-Up Starflyer, built by an unknown manufacturer. Speaking of stand-up renditions of common flat rides, here we have another one that's also a rare attraction. Said to have operated in the Italian city of Mantua, this ride appears to be a modified Starflyer by Austrian manufacturer Funtime. While the Starflyer is an already popular and sometimes larger-than-life attraction, the stand-up Starflyer kicks things up a notch by adding what look like shark cages to it. So while passengers do have the option to sit down as usual, they can also stand up with no seatbelts in small, confined cages. And as if Starflyers weren't terrifying enough, imagine having to experience them standing up in a cage with nothing to keep you in. Just like the other rides on this list, this was the only footage I could find, so if you have your own footage, I'd love to see it. Number 1. The Choas Pendle, built by Austrian manufacturer Funtime. While it's unknown if Funtime had any involvement in the stand-up Starflyer, they were definitely responsible for this loony, holy Shrek on a pogo stick creation of a ride. This ride seats passengers on a colossal rotating main arm, but that wasn't enough for Funtime. They actually managed to put another rotating arm on the aforementioned main arm. In its earliest incarnation, this attraction had what looked like a propeller attached to the main arm. All the while, the seats are flipping back and forth. I can only imagine what this ride's nausea rating in Roller Coaster Tycoon would be. Over the years, this ride has changed in its appearance, with a more modernized version on the market today. But in my opinion, the original look of this ride is instant eye candy. Those 3 spokes really stand out, and I sincerely hope this ride still exists, since I couldn't find a lot of footage of it. Regardless though, its size, scale, appearance, and intensity makes it more than worthy of the number 1 spot. Before we wrap things up, check out my merchandise shop for Theme Park Crazy merchandise. Take a photo wearing one of my shirts at a park, and feel free to send it to me at themeparkcrazy1992@gmail.com. Your photo may be featured on my Instagram page. And also, I want to give a special shout out to my newest Patreon supporters. Verbal shoutouts start at the gold tier, so if you don't hear your name, it will be listed at the end of the video. Here is a special shout out to Corey Sadel and Samuel Stock. Thank you all so much, and if you want to support me on Patreon, you can do so once again at the link in the description.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe. You can follow me on social media on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, or you can check out my website at themeparkcrazy.com. This is Theme Park Crazy, and I'll see you all next time.